Okay, hey guys, welcome back for another reading. This one we're planning on diving into the water element. Let's just take a moment, take a deep breath in with me, and out, and in, and out, and one more, and hold it, 3, and out. Oh, okay guys, so intention with this reading is to help us connect deeply to our own waters, to the waters in our body, the waters in life, the waters of our consciousness, and to really actually start awakening the current of life that's moving, that's been fast moving, that in some ways society disconnects us from, so that we can actually then reconnect to who and what we are, on a cellular, genetic, vibrational piece and part. This will be different for each person. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. As always, guys, any form of energetic exchange helps it play out a little bit more in your life. I'm talking like, subscribe, comment, share good vibes, share it, send the link, copy the link, all of these things, amazing. And you will see an immediate response in how it is that video works for you. It's really quite cool, honestly. But yeah, guys, I'm just opening myself up to spirit so that it can move through in whatever ways it's open. Currently, Dave, the Vining, still working on the exact name. But yeah, just one step at a time, one step at a time. Anyway, okay, so let's go ahead and jump into this reading. You might notice my accent change a bit from time to time. It likes to do that. Okay, and then also just, there are some hedikas here. They're specifically designed to help connect with the water element. So if you kind of just focus on that and invite that energy, it's the triskelion, into all the water in your body. I do plan to get them up online at some point once I get all of that stuff sorted, but just day by day. Otherwise, you can look up how to construct them. I do highly recommend it. These are made to a specific measurement. Really, really useful. I find even just sitting with them or even visualizing them, you can feel the water in your body's vibrations start to rise. You can actually feel like the energy there. And I was having an experience where sitting with like a few of them and kind of just feeling that processing, because obviously if the water in your body, which is linked to emotion, starts to rise in energy and spin, I think it's important that we remember the vortex that we live in and through. Thank you, Abraham Hicks. Then we start seeing and experiencing those energies start to shift very quickly. These are made with twisted wire, tensor ring inspired, and they're all made to the golden fire cubit. So just a bit of truth sharing with you guys, just my little internal piece that's been going on. So first and foremost, we have the Hierophant popping up, and it's inverted. So we're looking at the fact of we're having all of this information around, and the way that most people are going about synthesizing that information is a little outdated. Or maybe not outdated, but let's just say it doesn't work as well. Some amazing people like, what's his name now? But he has Soul Stories and Journey of the Soul or something like that. I can't remember the name. As soon as I do, I'll post it, or share it. But really great author, and he speaks about moving from linear single personality to multi-dimensional personality, multi-sensory, that's the word, 5 sensory versus multi-sensory. And the multi-sensory is saying that, okay, with each sense, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we can take in a certain amount of information, but if we allow them to work together and not become so attached, and kind of like literally attached, like grab onto it and then change the way that energy is moving, then we can actually start allowing more to come through. And that gives us like a story, it gives us a story from the top to the bottom. But as we start allowing that to shift and change and stay in spin, and not come out of spin so much, we actually start allowing it to kind of create a fire. You know, like when we're working with a fire, we generate a lot of heat. And the thing is, naturally, because we are in such intense times with energy and information and light and everything, you know, we have the opportunity to always be in this furnace, which is great. But while it does offer us a lot of luck, it can also kind of derail the seasons we have, because we're always needing to be going. And that's where, you know, our mind gets in, it creates this very strong wind, which is amazing. You know, it's really good to kind of have this blow in and through our life. And as we do so, we start allowing ourselves to really be present and find the value that's always there. But it does take a certain romanticism with life, you know, where it is whatever's happening is happening for you, through you, and in your highest alignment. And it's this sort of passion that really helps us keep moving forward. But it does come with, you know, the deep waters, the emotion, the God, what is moving in my life? And maybe that person isn't speaking to me, but maybe as opposed to seeing it as this, oh my God, I can actually just be like, you know what, I can surrender into serendipity and allow myself to be my own best friend, so that I'm not going to accept some love from others that is minimal or marginalized or just not as good as I'll give my goddamn self. You know, you deserve to have the highest frequency within you and for you. And sometimes this might come with a certain level of isolation, you know, but it's also a case of these times of solitude serve us in aligning with ourselves, because then it means that we're not just, you know, going out and doing what everyone else is doing for the sake of it, but we're actually making sure to find that internal fire, an internal spark, and also letting others teach us that, you know, like teach us like, okay, well, how deeply can we go with that? And giving respect for that path. But that respect also then comes with a certain level of what's not working, you know, for them, for me, for everyone, and respectfully knowing that I need to learn how to first exist in my environment. You know, how can I make sure my home is clean and tidy and decluttered, and what is it that I can do as a piece of releasing the attachments and bringing a level of peace into those spaces, and also peace with the release. You know, peace is twofold, because it's one hand being allowing yourself to release the attachments, but also knowing how to actually let go of them internally. Letting go of things is great, but unless we have done the inner work to allow those people, those places, and those events to actually move past, we are continuously reaping it because we keep planting it. So, you know, this journey is unique to each person, honestly. And it does come over time and in a way that's like slow, you know, but it's almost finding a way to also know that spirit always has your back. Something that you feel you might need from someone, let's say a cable or whatever, you know, if that cable doesn't have good energy, you are allowed to let it go. I'm not saying just throw it in the bin, donate it, give it to, you know, whatever space and whatever charity works for you, but you don't need to keep holding on to that just because of the pragmatics of, oh, this thing needs to be held because of X, Y, and Z, you know. We live in a far more high energized state at our core. And it's really just allowing ourselves to come back to that truth, because we have divorced ourselves a lot from our truth, and it creates a lot of suffering. You know, the suffering is one that is tribal in a sense, but we have in some way attached to it to create it as a personal suffering. You know, the suffering of all people is my suffering as well. So it's within my best interest to pray or meditate or visualize or manifest or know that we are in unity and we are working together, and to look to observe that situation and that fact, and actually then go ahead and say, you know what, I'm done. I'm done creating this narrative of pain and hurt and fear and anger, and I completely acknowledge that it exists. I am in zero space, time, or anything saying that it's not happening, but I choose and continue to choose and ask to align with the way that I may be able to serve as a catalyst for there to be peace all along this world, for us to all find the humanity within one another and live in unity, in a connected reality and connected world, so that we are able to actually see what we might be able to do as consciousness. And this is, the inspiration point. And it's a case of the isolation we allow ourselves to exist in and through to also be inspired to action. Because what is it that in doing, in being, in seeing, who is it, how is it that I can live in a way that inspires the action of those around me to be more in alignment? This is not always going to be the easiest path, and sometimes it's going to really push us into a space of suffering, but the passion, our light of life, is what will continue to take us through. Sometimes we'll notice that we've got the smallest level of inspiration on how to start, how to keep that fire stoked, how to keep moving, but sometimes it will come with, we need to physically light a fire and figure out how to actually, honor the ancestors that are everywhere. And that does come with, at times, doing difficult things. And if we struggle to do that, then I really ask you to assess your environment and ask, is the environment I'm in supporting me in doing these difficult things? Is it a highly supportive and charged environment where the people are willing to go over and above? Or is it that things happen and then it's looked at as my responsibility? And look, I'm all for 100% responsibility, but at times those situations are not helpful, because it means that one person is being asked to take on more because of some outdated paradigm that is in some way exploited and looked to go ahead and actually still be used. That's a very simple way of saying, are people looking at you and being like, you know what, you have to do that because that's your job? Because with unity, we have this thing of, that's your job, but how can I make it easier for you? How can I share the burden in some way and not just put it all on you, because we're in this together and your success is my success and your distress and difficulty and suffering is my difficulty, distress and suffering. That's the level of responsibility we're existing in. And it does come the more that we look to work on our internal side and, actually